It always starts with a gut feeling, doesn't it? Something subtle. An almost imperceptible shift in tone. A softness in her voice that felt out of place when she'd say, "I'll be out for lunch with a friend." Not just any softness, but the kind you only recognize if you've known its sharper counterpart. The edge you thought you had smoothed over years of commitment and shared life. Laura and I had been married for 8 years. 8 years of morning coffees, whispered dreams, and that quiet understanding that only comes from truly knowing someone inside and out. I believed we were solid. Sure, we argued now and then, but who doesn't? I chalked it up to the natural wear and tear of a long relationship. That belief shattered the night I happened to glance at her phone, resting innocently beside me on the couch. Can't stop thinking about today. The message came from a number I didn't recognize. When I asked her about it, she laughed nervously and waved it off. "It's nothing, just a group chat. You know how girls can be." I nodded, pretending to believe her. I didn't press. But later that night, lying in bed beside her, staring at the ceiling in the dark, I felt it in my bones. Something was wrong. Deeply, painfully wrong. Weeks passed. Her lunch dates became more frequent. Her excuses vaguer. Eventually, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I'm not proud of what I did next. But one afternoon, when she left her phone unattended, I looked through it. The messages I found weren't just flirty, they were explicit. Her friend was named Eric. Judging by their messages, these weren't casual meetups. The lunch dates were much more than sandwiches and small talk. I felt a wave crash over me, first nausea, then fury, then deep, crushing humiliation. My wife was having an affair. And this wasn't just a fling. These texts were soaked in emotional intimacy, the kind of closeness Laura and I once shared. The kind I thought we still had. For a week, I carried the weight in silence. I didn't know whether to confront her, pack my bags, or beg for an explanation. In the end, I did none of those. Instead, I plotted. Something I had never done before. Carefully. Methodically. It began with research. A few social media rabbit holes later, I found Eric. He was a colleague of Laura's, a sales rep from a company she'd collaborated with on a recent project. He was married, too. His wife's name was Christine. I found her Facebook, petite brunette, kind eyes, and 2 little kids under 5. My heart broke for her. But not enough to stop what I was about to do. The plan came together faster than I expected. First, I hired a private investigator, Frank. Gruff, weathered, no nonsense. He looked like he'd seen too many lies for one lifetime. And he got to work. When Frank returned, his evidence was airtight. Photos of Laura and Eric leaving a hotel together, laughing in her car, brushing hands. A kiss, captured in a frozen frame. Proof. A cold, hard, undeniable proof. Next, I messaged Christine. I kept it brief. "Hi, Christine. This will be hard to hear. But I believe your husband Eric is having an affair with my wife, Laura. I've attached photos. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you." Her reply came an hour later. "Thank you for telling me." Just one sentence. But it was enough. The ball was rolling now, and I couldn't stop it, even if I wanted to. But I had one last move to make. I wanted Laura to see exactly what her betrayal had cost. To feel its weight. So I invited her to lunch. "Let's have a date," I said with a forced smile. "Just the 2 of us. It's been a while." She seemed relieved. Maybe even excited. Maybe she thought my sudden attention meant I was clueless. She had no idea it was the calm before the storm. The reckoning. On the day of the lunch, I set the table with care. White tablecloth. Our finest silverware. 2 glasses of wine. To the untrained eye, it looked like a romantic gesture. In reality, it was a stage. At the center of it all sat a manila envelope, thick with printed messages and photos, Frank's handiwork. Laura walked in, smiling, cheeks flushed from her supposed lunch. But she stopped cold at the sight of the table. Her eyes flicked from the wine to the envelope to me. "What's this?" she asked, her voice tight. I didn't answer. I just gestured to her seat. She sat, hesitantly. That earlier glow now replaced by nervous tension. I slid the envelope across the table. Open it, I said. She hesitated, then did. As she sifted through the photos and printouts, her jaw clenched. Her face paled. I can explain, she whispered, but her voice held no conviction. Explain? I leaned back, voice calm, but sharp as a blade. Explain what? That you've been lying to me for months? That you've been sneaking around with a married man? That our marriage is just disposable to you? Tears welled in her eyes. It's not like that, she whispered. Then what is it like, Laura? My voice rose. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you've been having your cake and eating it too. She broke down, sobbing, apologizing, words tumbling over each other like debris in a flood. I let her cry, let her sit in the mess she made. And then I dropped the bombshell. I've spoken to Christine. Her head snapped up. Horror spread across her face. You what? She knows. Everything. Just like I do. You didn't just destroy our marriage, Laura. You destroyed 2 families. A knock at the door broke the silence. Laura froze. I stood and opened it. Christine stepped in, calm-faced, eyes blazing with fury. And behind her, Eric. Laura went pale. What is this? She choked. This, I said, is closure. The fallout. The confrontation was brutal. Christine unloaded years of rage on Eric. He stood there, stammering like a child caught stealing. Laura tried to step in, but Christine turned on her like a storm. Don't you dare try to justify this, she snapped. You're selfish, deceitful, and disgusting. She used words I won't repeat here. But she said what needed saying. Eric tried to defend himself. Something about feeling unappreciated at home. I laughed, cold and bitter. You've got 2 beautiful kids and a wife who'd move heaven and earth for you. And this is how you repay her. By the end of it, everyone looked like hollow versions of the people they once were. Christine and I exchanged a glance, a silent agreement. We'd walk out of this stronger. That night, Laura packed her things and left. The next morning, I filed for divorce. Christine did the same. Eric lost his job. Christine had sent the evidence to his employer. Laura's reputation took a nosedive. Friends, family, they found out. Word spread. They had no one to blame but themselves. Rebuilding. As for me, no, it wasn't easy. There were nights I cried until morning. Days when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. But I endured. With time, the anger gave way to something quieter, resolve. I went to therapy. I started running. I reconnected with old friends I had drifted from. A year later, I'm better than I've been in a long time. I've learned to value myself, to demand honesty, to recognize red flags, and to trust my gut. As for Laura and Eric, last I heard, their relationship didn't survive the weight of what they did. Some say revenge is toxic, and maybe it is. But sometimes it's the spark we need to take our lives back. And take it back I did.